Breaking news in the South Bay, where a wildfire in Delzura has burned at least 4 structures and grown to 1,400 acres. Good evening, I'm Jesse Pagan. Carlo is off tonight.
I'm Marcella Lee. Now, it's not clear yet if any of those structures that have burned are homes. Right now, the 94 freeway is closed to traffic between Forest Gate Road in Campo and Otay Lakes Road in Delzura.
People are also evacuating their homes in the area. CBS 8's Richard Allen is live at Hamul Casino, one of the evacuation points. Richard?
And Jesse and Marcella, you can see behind me that huge plume of smoke in the background as the Border 32 fire, as it's called, has exploded to 1,400 acres at this point. Let's take a look at some video we have shot from earlier. Now, this fire broke out, as you mentioned, shortly after 2:15 this afternoon near State Route 94 and Barrett Lake Road. At this point, what you just mentioned, it has exploded to 1,400 acres, and it's spreading quickly east toward Potrero. Now, along with Hamul Casino here, which we are at right now, there's another evacuation set up at Campo Elementary School. And as you mentioned, road closures are continuing. State Route 94 closed in both directions between Forest Gate Road and Otay Lakes Road. Also, the Tecate port of entry is also closed down at this point. Now, coming back live here at Hamul Casino, this is, as we mentioned, an evacuation point, and we have with us Esteban Chavez. He's actually a student, a senior at Steel Canyon High School. And Esteban, you were heading home. You actually live right on Barrett Lake Road where this fire started, and you were turned around as you were trying to get home?
Yeah, I was making my way from school. My mom picked me up. She was like, I need to call me ASAP. So I called her. She was like, there's a fire. We need to go home. So I was like, okay, well, let's go home. My stepdad got through the checkpoint. I went with my mom. We hit traffic, so we're like, okay, well, we can't go home. Let's turn around. We found out that there was going to be
evacuation
center at Casino. We were actually the first ones here. There was no one else here, so we've been here for like over an hour.
And they have quite a lot set up here. They have food, they have water, they have anything you need right now?
Soda, water, just hanging out, shade.
And what are you hearing, though, from you said you were in contact with some of your neighbors as well, and we understand that maybe some of your neighbors have actually perhaps lost their houses at this point?
Yeah, so houses like at the beginning of Barrett Lake Road, as far as I know, some of them actually burned down. We actually got lucky and it barely missed our house. There's a crest and it was at the top of the crest. I actually have a cousin in Potrero right now who just had to evacuate. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, what is going through your mind right now? Because your family, your stepfather is actually at the other evacuation center right now, you said, but you guys are all keeping in contact. What's going on through your mind?
I was just really scared when I was driving home because I was like, I don't want to lose all my stuff, you know? I don't know what else I would do, so yeah.
And of all days too, I mean, we're experiencing this major heat wave, and I mean, were you prepared? Is your family prepared for something like this?
We've been actually preparing a lot. It's just mostly my mom and stepdad, but as far as I know, we've been preparing a lot.
Gotcha. And at this point, though, we understand your home is safe. You believe your home is safe?
I believe the wind is going east now, so right now it is safe. I mean, unless the wind changes direction, it's safe right now. Yeah.
Gotcha. Hopefully it will remain safe. And I appreciate, Esteban, you're speaking with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. And as we said before, this fire now 1,400 acres, expanding, going eastward toward Potrero. We'll continue to stay on top of the story and bring you the latest in other live updates. Jesse and Marcella?
Thank you, Richard. Meantime, we're tracking another wildfire, this one in the East County.
This one is burning near Lakeside in the area of the 67 freeway and Willow Road. That's right by El Capitan High School. Now, evacuations are underway right now for people living in that area. People with special needs or who have large animals are asked to evacuate as soon as possible. So far, we have no reports of any injuries or damage to any buildings. A temporary evacuation point is set up at Lakeside Christian Church on El Monte Road. Firefighters have managed to keep this fire under 10 acres, but we are staying on top of this and will bring you updates here on air and online.
The intense heat, of course, fueling those fires tonight, and we won't see a cool down in the foreseeable future.
A flex alert is also in effect right now. It started at 4 o'clock and goes until 9 o'clock tonight. This is what it means. You're being asked not to use any major appliances. If you have AC, please set your thermostat at 78 degrees or higher.
Tonight, our coverage on this extreme heat continues with our Kirsten Holmes live in the South Bay, where a cool zone is all set up for people to beat the heat.
But first, let's check in with Carrie Lane. She's in for Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis tonight with a first look at your microclimate forecast. Carrie?
Good evening. So that fire that we just saw Richard Allen at, the Border 32 fire, we can see off in the distance here. This is our Otay camera facing east. You can see the plume of smoke coming up. Firefighters working hard, and hopefully that will resolve here shortly. As far as today's highs along the coast, we're in the mid-80s. Not too bad there. As we push inland, Escondido topped out at 99, 104 in Ramona, 101 in El Cajon. In fact, Campo tying the record back in 1998 for 105, 98 in Julian, and Borrego Springs 112. Now, we are expecting temperatures to cool a little bit in the overnight hours, but not like we typically see. You can see we started this morning in the low 70s. We've been hanging out in the mid-80s for most of the day. In fact, at 6 o'clock tonight, we're still around 84 degrees. The overnight low is going to be warmer than usual. So when you wake up in the morning, most likely going to start your day in the low 70s. Temperatures are expected to peak as we get into Sunday and Monday for this holiday weekend. And then as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, temperatures should start to calm down a little bit. Right now on the coast, we're in the mid 70s. As we push inland, you can still see a lot of 90s on the board. So while it is still warm out there at 6:05 this evening, Kirsten Holmes, she is covering the heat for us tonight. She's at the Norman Park Senior Center in Chula Vista. It's serving as a cooling center for people looking to get a break from this heat. Kirsten, deservingly so.
That's right, Carrie. Okay, so this senior center, the Chula Vista Library, and the splash pads serving the city of Chula Vista are all places where people can come in the city to cool off. And that is right on time because Governor Gavin Newsom just announced a state of emergency and a flex alert from 4 until 9 tonight. Marcella just told you about that. And that is right on time because it's definitely getting hot and we need to reduce the power grid.
Take a look at your 5-day forecast. We are looking at yet another heat dome. The hots are getting a lot hotter. The dries are getting a lot drier. The reality is we're living in an era of extremes. Extreme heat, extreme drought.
And you can already bet everyone who can will be turning up the AC. Governor Newsom says that's why he's calling for a flex alert today from 4 until 9 p.m. And that's why Aaron Ruiz with the Norman Park Senior Center says they're expanding their cooling zone into the Labor Day holiday.
We've decided to stay open because it's important for those that don't have AC and maybe can't make their way to a movie theater or the grocery store or the mall to cool off. We're a center that a lot of older adults rely on us for programming and just for hanging out with some friends. So we're going to open 8 to 5 on Monday.
Joan Sullivan has been coming to the senior center to stay active for years.
I don't have air conditioning, and so I just live a few miles down the road, but I really appreciate the air conditioning here.
But she says it's getting too hot.
I was watching Channel 8 this morning, and it's supposed to be, the weather's supposed to be 85 in Chula Vista. No, and it's supposed to be, what, on Sunday? Something like 95.
That's why Aaron says they need to get the word out.
Are people taking advantage of this as much as you think the need is in our community?
Absolutely not.
And Aaron says if you don't have a ride, they can help with that too for folks who live in Chula Vista and want to come to the senior center.
It's a free service that gets you to and from your home to the senior center for absolutely free.
Okay, so this cooling center closes at 5 tonight. Now, the cooling center that serves at the Chula Vista Library, that closes at 8, and that's going to be really helpful because that flex alert lasts until 9 o'clock tonight. For a full listing of places where you can go to cool out throughout San Diego County, look for this story on our website, CBS8.com. Reporting live in Chula Vista for CBS 8, I'm Kirsten Holmes. Back to you.
All right, Kirsten, thank you. Tonight, a man accused of killing his girlfriend in San Diego 6 years ago is at the San Diego Central Jail. 37-year-old Raymond McLeod was extradited to San Diego overnight. He was arrested in El Salvador Monday. The former Marine is accused of killing his girlfriend, 30-year-old Crystal Mitchell, in 2016. McLeod is expected to face a judge for his arraignment on Friday. Meantime, Oceanside police detectives are investigating tonight, trying to find out how a body ended up in Guajome Lake. They discovered the body this morning, and lifeguards helped pull it out of the lake. We don't know if the body is man or woman yet. Not many details so far. Some nearby trails, though, were closed while detectives were there.
The controversial California bill that would provide court-ordered treatment to people experiencing homelessness is headed to Governor Gavin Newsom's desk. The governor unveiled the Care Court framework back in March, and lawmakers passed it today with an overwhelming majority. It's aimed at treating and housing people suffering from substance use and severe mental illness who are also homeless. Opponents have voiced their concerns over how the bill will be funded and whether it would infringe on a person's civil liberties. Chula Vista police had an early morning wake-up call for homeless people living in Harborside Park. Acting on a city council decision last week to close the park, police forced everyone out. CBS 8's Steve Price was there as people packed up to leave.
Harborside Park is now officially closed. The homeless have been moved out. The fences are going up. The big question now, what happens to all the people who were living here?
I've never seen a fence go up so fast.
Chula Vista police showed up around 7 this morning and told everyone to leave.
I have COPD. I have epilepsy. I have a blood condition. I have a condition in my blood that could be cancer. Where's the services? I'm still sitting on the sidewalk.
Anthony was living in the park
Get the chair.
with his wife and cat. They were offered a spot in an El Cajon facility, but there was a problem.
They had an organization from a church place that they wouldn't allow service animals, which we happen to have. Watch the wheel.
So homeless advocates put Anthony's belongings in the back of a pickup and took him to the city of San Diego, where he'll live unsheltered on a street.
These are elderly people. He has health conditions, and there's literally nowhere for them to go. It's really unfortunate.
Around 75 people who were living in the park quickly packed up what they could and moved out. Everything left behind was scooped up to be thrown away. And as fencing went up around the park, a handful of services set up on the other side.
I got 4 people into detox today.
Joseph Rubio with McAllister Institute says he used to live on the street, so he understands the situation. He also says there's a reason many of the people aren't simply being given hotel vouchers.
Why would I house you, first of all, if you're not addressing your drug problem? You're going to turn wherever we house you, or if we get you a hotel voucher, into a drug den.
But homeless advocates out here say that just proves their point. Chula Vista doesn't have a homeless shelter, and they say the city has no plan to really help those in need.
Chula Vista leaders are lying to us. They're lying about all these resources that are available. It's all a show. It's all smoke and mirrors. They're not helping people. They're trying to ship them out to El Cajon, and that's really just pathetic.
The park will remain closed for at least 3 months. In Chula Vista, Steve Price, CBS 8.
Thanks, Steve. Some people who live off Claremont Boulevard say their city streets are crumbling and falling apart. They complained on the Get It Done app but say the city is stonewalling them. CBS 8 is working for you. Anna Laurel spent the day calling city leaders to draw attention to this neighborhood and get some answers.
When these neighbors reached out to us at CBS 8, they described this street as feeling like sandpaper, and when we turned onto it this morning, that's exactly what it felt like as we were driving on it. They've been filling out requests and complaints on the Get It Done app for a year now and got no answers. So this morning, I started calling their council member, Chris Cate's office, and the folks with the Get It Done app.
This isn't a gravel pit. This is the city street in front of Evan Gutenberg's house.
We're not a tourist attraction in San Diego, and so this area just gets completely neglected.
Gutenberg lives off Claremont Mesa Boulevard on Kessling Place, a crumbling road covered by loose rock and pebbles. He and other young families moved here, revitalizing the neighborhood, only to discover their kids can't actually play here.
My son, riding the bike, had just tried to turn around right here, hit the loose gravel, front tire slipped out, and
wiped out. He had to get stitches in his knee at the ER.
No, the neglect of the street, there's real life consequences to it.
Tarath Dahan says she takes her kids to a local park to play.
It is pretty frustrating, especially with the cost of living in San Diego.
And it's not just their end of the street. We drove through the neighborhood and walked.
Hey, look. Here you go. Here's a piece of your street.
Yeah.
Several neighbors submitted complaints on the city's Get It Done app with no response. Evan did get one. The street has been evaluated and placed on the resurfacing backlog pending funding.
just falls on deaf ears.
Starting early this morning, I reached out to Councilmember Kate and city reps for Get It Done. Here's the response from Kate's office. Councilmember Kate has been a fierce advocate for District 6 residents on several issues, including street repaving. He has included Kessling Street in his budget priority memos in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Our office continues to communicate with residents on Kessling, and we're following up on their Get It Done submissions. So I asked point blank, where are these streets on the city's priority list, and when can they get fixed? They directed me to the mayor's office.
It's beyond frustrating.
Working for you in San Diego, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
Don't forget, CBS 8 is working for you. If there's an issue you'd like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com.